Hello, and welcome to Web Relates. Today we're looking at the Petty Revenge subreddit. Our first story is by J. March Pineville, 7-year-old's Revenge at Church. When I, 49 male, was 7 years old, there was a particular member of the church that was a total butthole. This dude was mean to kids when no other adults were around, often calling us stupid, in the way, waste of time, etc. He also played the electric guitar for the praise and worship team at church. The problem was that he always cranked the amp way up and played that guitar really loudly, enough to drown out everyone else. One day, between Sunday school and the main service, I was exiting the bathroom and he was at the door waiting for the bathroom. He commented, "Get out of here, you stupid kid." As I entered the main building, I spotted his stupid guitar, which was unattended and nobody else was around. I untuned his guitar, making sure to turn some knobs way up and the others way down. As the music started, he turned his guitar amp up to the 150 decibel level and started playing. What came out of that thing was the worst screeching, off-tune garbage. I sat back, looking innocent, and enjoyed watching him freak out and spend the whole time trying to retune his guitar. Who's stupid now, mister? Our next story is by Haunted Ghost Atoms. My mom passed without a will, and her husband kept all of the inheritance from my grandpa, so I messaged everyone he knows and told them. My mom passed away last year, the day before my birthday, after over 5 months of suffering. She didn't know how bad she was, and then it was too late to make a will. She even mentioned this to me the last time I saw her, a couple of weeks before she passed. She apologized to me, and even said that since her husband was getting it, I probably wouldn't see a penny of it. Because of the state that she passed in, all of the inheritance went to her husband. I was on good terms with him, and he agreed to share half of it with me, to my surprise. It was nice to know I could trust him, and he was the only thing left I had that was connected to my mother. All of my other family had passed away, some all on my own. After many months of going back and forth with him, and trying to figure out when he would send me the money, I realized he was lying to me. He kept giving me excuses and stories about how he'd send it to me tomorrow, next week, next month. It never stopped. At one point, he told me he had a relative in Europe that left him $1 million, and if I could just wait until he got that, he would double what he told me he would give me. Finally, I had enough of being jerked around, and I told him I thought he was lying. He blocked my number. There was nothing I could do. Or was there? It's not much, but I realized that while I could not see his friends list on Facebook, I could see all his posts where his friends commented. I could see all the birthday wishes left on his profile. So I went to all of those people and sent them a carefully crafted message about what happened and how much money he got. The thing about my mom's husband is that their whole relationship, he was dealing with issues his brother caused when their father passed and the brother stole the power of attorney and stole all of the inheritance. All of his friends and family have been hearing stories about how crap his brother is and how he was going to pay. Now this man is doing to me what his brother did to him. Even if his friends don't care about him being a bad person, maybe they would be interested in knowing how much money he got. I've heard the stories about people winning the lottery and how all their friends and family turned on them. I'm hoping he'll get some crap from some people, and even more people contacting him with their hands out. I hope he ends up with no one on his side, so he'll know how I feel being on my own. It's a pity OP doesn't have any updates on the situation. I would have liked to see how this one turned out. Our next story is by Limes. Today I made sure a pricing error did not occur. I was at Home Depot earlier today, making a quick run for some supplies for my current home renovation. I was picking up cement board and some various materials to trench power to a breakfast counter that will be installed in our kitchen. I had one of the big wallboard carts that I was cruising around with, being careful and cautious of others the whole time. So the trip was a bit frustrating, as there are a lot of people stopping and waiting to allow crowds to pass so I can safely maneuver without bumping into anyone or anything. It's not a big deal, and it was to be expected, but I'm only mentioning this part to set the stage that by the end of my 30-minute endeavor, that could have been much quicker had I not needed this cart, I may have been in a different mindset by the time I got to the checkout. So, I have all my supplies and just need the cement board now, so I head on over to the wallboard aisle. Funny enough, it's totally chaotic. There's a middle-aged guy, his elderly father, and late 20-something son, and we're loading sheetrock in a way that was taking the whole width of the aisle. so I had to go down another aisle to get around them. I'd usually just bring my cart up against the stack and pull off the amount I need. It's quite quick with multiple hands. Additionally, they had pulled 2 sheets down and let them land on a flatbed cart, which doesn't work. It simply won't fit. They had left that out in the middle of the aisle to get the more appropriate cart, apparently. I carefully move the flatbed off to the side so it's out of the way of the aisle, and get to work with loading the cement board. I have a sheet in my hand, and the youngest of that crew decides he needs to get somewhere quick and awkwardly walks really close behind me, making it so I can't maneuver the sheet onto my cart. No biggie, I just hold it awkwardly till he passes, which was just another oddity that further set the stage for me. I finally finish and head over to the pro checkout. I get over there, and there's 2 guys being wrung out with a cart. The employee checking them out appears kinda newish. He's a younger guy that seemed to be struggling with one of their items or something. But I wasn't going to try to haul my cart full of 12 sheets of cement board over to a regular checkout, and it wasn't a big deal. So I wait patiently, and these guys finally go to swipe their card, and this is where things get spicy. The dream team from the wallboard aisle start walking up with a large cart of drywall they were struggling to work through in the aisle, along with some additional items. The middle-aged guy awkwardly walks in front of me and takes a hold of the cart that was with the guys at checkout, and it all clicks. That cart didn't belong to the 2 guys at checkout. The older guy brings his cart loaded with 12 sheets of sheetrock and passive-aggressively moves diagonally in front of me to cut me off. I'd like to think I'm a nice guy, but I was over it at this point. The middle-aged guy looks me in the eyes, and I say, "Man, I like your style. I wasn't aware we can reserve spots in the line at the pro checkout. I feel dumb having just stood here for 5 minutes." He shrugs and says, "I was just here. I had to get more things." I shook my head and let it go. The employee starts checking them out and goes through the first cart. He gets to the sheetrock and asks, "How many is that? 6?" And the old guy immediately says, "Yes, 6. Here's the thing with sheetrock. It's always bought in bulk 99% of the time, and it's transported in pairs to keep it from easily snapping in transit. If you need to buy one, you have to rip the tear strips off that bind them together, but they are rung up individually." I let the employee get through the rest of the items and hit the total button so they could see what it came out to, then immediately pounced. "Excuse me, sir." They pause, and the cashier turns to me. "You're ringing out only 6 sheets of drywall, but there's actually 12 there." The old guy snaps at me. "They're sold in pairs." I look at him and respond, "No, sir, you're mistaken. I can show you on the app that they're definitely sold individually. The cashier can get confirmation of it from his supervisor if needed." The middle-aged guy looks at me again, and I give him a big smile and say, "I'm sure it's an honest mistake, but I'm glad I was here to help fix it." The cashier adjusts his mistake, and the bill goes up by about $80. I gave them a smile as they left. Our next story is by Crown Poli. Some guy shorted me at work, pizza delivery, so I saved his number in my phone, and will prank call him from time to time. Once delivered pizza to this guy, and we met at a gas station. He was outside of the delivery zone. When I got back to my car and counted the money, he was short $7. I called him, and he told me that he misunderstood the price over the phone, and he'd run to his house and return with the money and a nice tip. He said it would take 5 minutes. 15 minutes go by, and I call him again. No answer. I go back to the shop and call him once from my phone and once from the shop phone. No answer. I left him a voice message and told him he was $7 short, and we would need to call in with a credit card if he couldn't find his wallet. Since I was pretty pissed off that dude lied, I saved his number in my phone, and usually when me and my buddies are drinking, I'll give him a call. He won't answer, and I'll leave him a message asking him if he's got the money yet. I've done this 3 to 4 times now. Last time I called and left a voice message and said that my definitely disabled little sister fell down the stairs and we need some money, $7, to cover her expenses. I think it's funny. Screw 'em. Our last story is by Drew Bask Adam. Shock me with the electric fence? Enjoy my help turning a 30-minute job into a 2-hour job. As kids, I was 17 female and my brother was 15. We had horses, and for some reason in the winter the deer would break the top wire of the electric fence, always at the furthest point in the pasture too. So when we went out to do chores before school, if the fence was broken we had to fix it, so the horses could be turned out. I would unplug the fence, drag supplies up the hill and spliced the fence. As soon as I got the pieces together, zap! Now I was pretty sure I unplugged the fence, but hey, it was early morning, so maybe I forgot. I get back down to the barn, and my brother was doing chores. I asked him, and he said he plugged it back in because he saw it was unplugged and wanted to help. I told him not to plug it in unless he finds me first. And why? Well, next time I'm on the hill, zap! Repeat convo above. Rinse and repeat for 2 weeks. Nothing I said got him to stop. Until we had a crew cab dually with a 454 8-cylinder truck, and Dad decided it needed a tune-up. He got all the stuff and asked my brother to do the tune-up. Now I knew my way around auto repair and had done a tune-up or two myself, so I knew exactly what I was doing. I was helping. The hood was up, and he had gone to get another tool, so I figured I would help by pulling all the spark plug wires off both the distributor and the spark plugs. He came back, and I told him really excitedly that I helped him get started and showed him how. I thought he was going to cry. He asked why I pulled them all. I told him that he had been so helpful with the fence and plugging it in for me, and that I wouldn't be a great sister if I didn't help him when he needed it. He was mad, but learned his lesson. Having to figure out the firing order for the truck without Google to help him took him 2 hours, but he did stop plugging the fencer in on me. I presume OP is living on some kind of farm. I think it's actually kind of cool to see the practical skills that they learn out there. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the content, please like and subscribe to the channel. Until the next video, cheers!